Influencer page outreach. Influencer page outreach really boils down to creating allies. In your niche, you are sure to have competitors. However, some of these competitors are open to cooperating with you. Many will not give you the time of day, but there are few who would see the strategic advantage of partnering up instead of competing. There are also other people on Facebook who have pages and who are not competitors with you. They may even have a lot of fans. Here's how you build alliances with influence leaders on FB. Step number 1, find competitors. The first thing that you need to do is look at your notes when you reverse engineered your competitors. These people are in the same niche as you. After all, you study them to get to the industry standard content strategy as well as page layout and design for your own Facebook page. Next, you should look for non-competitors who specialize in your niche. There should be quite a few of these. These are not merchants or ones who provide services. They're not competing for the same dollars as you. Instead, they cater to the same audience as you. Try to find as many of these as possible. Step number 2, pay your dues by engaging. I know at this point it's very tempting to just go to a competitor's page and post a comment on one of their posts. In the comment, you're dropping a link to your page or to your website. You then repeat this many times on all their posts. Well, let me tell you, if you do this, you're going to get banned. Whatever links you put up will get deleted. It's a waste of time. Don't even think about it. The same applies to influential niche observers. These are non-competitors, but you shouldn't spam them either. Instead, you should pay your dues by engaging. How do you do this? First, you need to share high-quality content. It doesn't matter who wrote the content. It doesn't matter where that content goes to or links to. What's important is that it provides maximum value to anybody reading that content. It has to be on point. It has to deal with a specific theme or topic that you know that your target audience members are interested in. Next, you need to engage with people in terms of answering their questions. Try to be a facilitator. Try to be a mediator. Try to be the go-to source of information for your niche. If people are looking for statistics, go on Google and find them the statistics they're looking for. If they're looking for a video, go to YouTube and search for the content that they're looking for. The more you do this, the more people will pay attention to you because, let's face it, in any kind of online group communication platform, only a very few people actually produce high-quality content. You can count them on one hand most of the time. Everybody else is basically a leech. They take and take information, but they only give from time to time, if at all. Be that expert. Be that go-to resource. Another way you can engage is by asking questions. Now, these questions should not be very basic or dumb questions. Instead, they should be deep, insightful questions. You can also ask questions that try to tie many issues together. Many people are concerned about many different issues. When you ask questions that tie all these together, it can be very useful. You should also give feedback to people's responses. You have to do this in a respectful way. You cannot come off as a hater or somebody who's just plain negative. There is such a thing as constructive feedback. Remember, the name of the game here is to add value to the places that you're on. This means sharing information and enhancing information through proper questions and feedback. Step number 3, become credible, then reach out. At a certain point, people will start asking for you by name. People will try to reach out to you via Messenger. That's when you know that you have become an asset to these groups. That's when you know that you are on people's radars. You're not just this random person showing up every once in a while dropping a link. Instead, you're that person that helps keep these groups together. This is when you reach out. This is when you try to engage with the group admin. Usually, the best way to do this is when they engage with you. Maybe they mention your name, or they send you a message on Messenger. Whatever the case may be, try to wait for them, or reach a high enough level of engagement and acknowledgement from other community members before you reach out. What are you going to be reaching out for? Well, there are many different opportunities on the table. You can ask to swap content with your page. Most page admins don't have a problem with this. You can also ask for a shout-out. Basically, the admin of the page that you're on will tell page fans to check out your page because your page is a friend of the page they run. You can go through some ideas regarding joint events. Now, please keep in mind that this is not like a real event where people have to physically go somewhere, or you have to rent out some hall, rent out security, or get food. No. This is an online event, maybe a seminar, a live Facebook session conducted from 2 locations, or it can be an interview. Another opportunity on the table is, of course, guest blogging. You probably don't need me to remind you of how value-packed this is. Not only do you get eyeballs to your link, which can produce direct traffic, but you also get tremendous search engine optimization benefits if the partner has a high-value blog. You can also reach out for infographics. This means you create an infographic and you get the admin to post the infographic on their blog with a link back to you. Again, this boosts your SEO chances. Finally, you can collaborate on content. This is custom content intended for both your audiences. Regardless of how you cut it, influencer page outreach is a very powerful way to market on Facebook for absolutely free. Seriously, your only investment is your time. And what makes it so awesome is the fact that you are leveraging the hard-won credibility and authority of your partner. They've been there before. They put in the work and the time to develop a rapport and a solid brand with the people that follow them. When they give you a shout-out or they feature your content, or they co-host an event with you, they lend you some of their fame, which makes you credible. You're no longer some random stranger who came out of nowhere. Instead, people get this idea in their minds that if somebody they respect and admire recommends a new person, then I'll give that new person a shot. Maybe that new person is worthy of my admiration and respect. Building alliances with influential niche players is definitely worth doing. But please keep in mind that it does take time. However, if you are passionate about your niche and you view your Facebook marketing business as a real business, then this should not be a problem for you. Paid Page Boost Campaign. Another way you can get a lot of traffic from Facebook is by using a paid page boost. Basically, you are paying for the promotion of your page. This is different from a page post boost. You're not promoting the content of your page, you're promoting the page itself. This is a great way to get page likes and to broaden the statistical demographics of your page. And why is this important? Why is it a big deal that you get a broad statistical demographic snapshot of people truly interested in whatever it is you are promoting? You have to understand that Facebook works best when you target people by their interests. This is a bit tricky because if your page is statistically inaccurate as far as your niche is concerned, you probably would have a very faulty set of targeting parameters. You're not quite there when it comes to getting the interest of people you're trying to reach. This is why it's crucial that your page gets a truly honest snapshot of the range of interests as well as demographic information of the people who are actually interested in whatever you are promoting. This is hard to achieve if you are just promoting your page organically. Maybe you're not putting in that much time in getting the word out about your page. Perhaps you are just sharing the word on several groups that may not line up, demographically speaking, with your niche. Whatever the case may be, there might be a blind spot there. This is why I suggest that at least at a minimal level, engage in some sort of paid page boost campaign. Make sure your page is mature enough before you launch a paid page boost campaign. Make sure that your page has been around for a long enough time for it to build up enough user insight as well as engagement levels for you to accurately target the demographic you should begin with. This is important. If you're able to pull this off, then your demographics will help you run more successful campaigns involving your content or your direct traffic campaigns. These are campaigns that direct traffic from Facebook directly to your target website. You're going to do that primarily using a lookalike audience campaign. Make sure you're ready for a sponsored page ad buy. When you're buying a sponsored page ad campaign, make sure your page looks good. Make sure you're sending the right signals both in terms of graphics and text. You don't want to waste your money, so make sure that at least everything looks like it's ready to go. There has to be enough solid content on your page. This increases the likelihood that you will get a decent amount of page likes. Where does all this lead to? As I have mentioned above, if you get a lot of page likes, you will be able to target your intended audience better. In addition to that, you may be able to increase your reach because the more people that like your page, the bigger your base visibility becomes. If a lot of those people actively engage with your content, that percentage increases, but you're still dealing with the reality that your content will only reach a fairly small percentage of the people who have expressed interest in your content. When you increase the total amount of likes you get, you still have that same small percentage, but the raw numbers are bigger. Believe me, 10% of 100 is definitely going to be smaller than 10% of 100,000. Which position would you rather be in? This is why it's always a good idea to build up your page likes. Hand in hand with this is the fact that you can profile your users better, as I've mentioned above. This higher level of profiling paired with better content management and targeting on your part can lead to more content visibility. How come? Well, your reach can increase because of higher engagement levels. If you pay attention to what kind of content people really like on your page, and you produce more of that content and you fine-tune it so people are more likely to engage with it, this can increase your organic reach. This makes your content more visible. What is engagement? Well, people can share your stuff. They can like, they can react, they can comment. Whatever the case may be, get them to do it. And the best way to do this, of course, is to make sure that the right people are attracted to your page and you put the right content in front of the right eyeballs. Unfortunately, this doesn't happen overnight. It is neither smooth nor easy. It's one of those things that you figure out on your own on a trial and error basis. But you do have powerful tools like Facebook's Audience Insights to see which content is resonating with your audience members. You can't just set this up and forget about it. You have to actively monitor it. You have to look for patterns. But the crucial ingredient to all of this is that your page gets enough likes. That's why you have to promote it at some point. Paid traffic campaigns. For this section, I'm defining paid traffic campaigns in two forms. I can pay to boost the post, or I can pay for direct traffic to my target website. Please note that I have presented this information in that order. Boost posts first, and then pay for direct traffic. There's a reason for this. If you don't master Facebook's traffic to your page posts, then it doesn't make sense to go directly to your target website. You probably are going to spend a tremendous amount of money, time, and effort only to have very little to show for all that. It's better to boost the post in a strategic way so you can understand what kind of content connects with your intended audience. You will then be able to drive traffic to your website. You're actually killing several birds with one stone. By focusing on boosting a post, you can get more page likes, you can get more branding opportunities, and you can also get click-throughs to your target website in the form of a content link. Here's how it works. Post boosts. First, target a lookalike audience based on your user insight demographic. In other words, Facebook is going to show your ad to a fresh set of users who share the same demographic details and interests as your current page fans. People with these similarities are more likely to like your content. You're not going to pay Facebook to show your post to people who have already liked your page. Instead, you are trying to get fresh eyeballs to your page posts. You do run quite a bit of risk. Existing audience post boosts. The next option you have available to you is to boost your post to people who have actually liked your page. These are your actual page fans. They know roughly what you're about. They like your content enough to like your page. They're expecting your content. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, Facebook only shows your content to a small fraction of people who liked your content. Unless your fans select see first when they like your page, Facebook will use its natural algorithm to select the initial group of eyeballs that will show your page content. If enough people engage with your content, then Facebook will show even more of your page fans to your content. However, it's never going to show it to 100% of your fans. That rarely happens. This is why it's a good idea to boost your post to reach more of the people who have liked your page. The upside to this is these are not virgins. They've seen your page. In fact, they've seen it and liked it so much that they have clicked the like button and want to see your content. At least you know that there is some sort of interest there. Still, please understand that while there is a certain degree of familiarity there, and this increases the chance that these people will actually engage with your content and possibly click through to your target site, that isn't exactly guaranteed. Existing audience plus their friends. As the old saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. Friends usually have shared interests. In fact, if you think about it hard enough, that's the main reason we became friends in the first place. We have certain interests in common. We have certain things to talk about, and that's why we're friends. Makes a lot of sense, right? Well, you can apply that to Facebook marketing as well, because this can produce a tremendous amount of marketing opportunities. Since your page fans also have friends on Facebook, You can buy a post boost that shows your ad not only to your fans, but to their friends as well. This is my favorite when it comes to post boosts because it is a cheap way of getting clicks to your target site. You reach a much wider audience. Please understand that if your page has a fairly small number of likes, even if you boost post after post, you only have a small base to work with. Now, if you expand that base by including your existing audience plus their friends, you have a lot more people to work with. You are operating with some level of confidence because you know that friends usually have shared interests. This translates to possibly cheap clicks to your target site. The best way to do this is to post a link directly to your content or to your promotional page on your website with some content. This way, when someone clicks through, they go straight to your website. They can read your commentary and some preview text, but the text should call them to action. This is the cleanest way to get direct traffic cheaply using post boosts targeting your existing audience and their friends. Direct traffic to your target site. The next option is to promote a target URL directly. It doesn't show a post from your page. It just goes directly to your target website paired with a picture. This is the direct traffic option on Facebook. To become successful with this, you have to use the lookalike audience based on your engaged users' insight data. In other words, your Facebook page should be mature enough for you to get solid consumer intelligence that you can then use to target potentially interested audiences on Facebook. That's the best way to do this. There are other ways. You can run raw targeting. Basically, you're not relying on user insight. Instead, you're just looking for an age range and a geographic location. You're also using gender. In certain situations, this may pay off. In fact, you may get better results than lookalike audiences, but generally speaking, you should focus on using the consumer intelligence your Facebook page gathered so you can reach people who are very similar to people you know have demonstrated a solid interest in whatever it is you're promoting. Best practices. Use them to boost your results. First, run small tests. This enables you to fail quickly. People who really know their way around Facebook run campaign after campaign after campaign until they're able to connect the dots and come up with a campaign that actually works. This is why you need to run small, cheap tests so you can easily see which campaigns are working out and which ones have failed. Next, make sure your budget is low. Usually, when I run a $1 campaign, that is good enough for me. $1 a day for 7 days a week, that is good enough for me to see if an ad has potential. So, I would run several ads. We're talking about $70 for 10 ads running at the same time. Third, focus on what works. Let me tell you, when you run many small tests, the winners stand out. Either they get clicks or not. That's the bottom line. However, at this stage, you're not just looking for clicks. You're not just looking for an ad campaign that gets a lot of attention. Instead, you're also going to look for an ad campaign that actually delivers conversions. You're going to have to set up your Facebook pixel to your target website so you can track whether traffic from Facebook went all the way through. I'm not just talking about traffic produced when people click on your link and they go to a content page and they leave. That's worthless. That's not going to help you. That traffic has to go to the content page, go to the sales page, and eventually make it to the shopping cart. That's when you know your campaign actually has traction. Focus on what works. Focus on what gets a high click-through rate paired with a conversion rate. However, to get there, you're going to have to burn through many ads. This is not going to jump out at you. It's not going to be obvious. It's not going to be easy. Once you have identified that ad and you've fine-tuned it, then scale it up. That's how this works. Basically, you focus on what works and then pour real money into it. Paid lead generation campaigns. Did you know that on Facebook you can collect email? That's right, you can collect leads. It's pretty straightforward. You can run ad campaigns with a lead collection button. It can be find out more, sign up, or other language. Regardless, if you're running this type of campaign, it must be highly targeted. It's really important that your targeting is spot on. I put this part of Facebook ad marketing at this point in the list of marketing methods because this takes quite a bit of work. You should be quite familiar with Facebook before you even try this. You should know your way around Facebook's ad system before you engage in paid lead generation because it can get quite expensive. If your ad doesn't get many clicks or it's super finely targeted, you don't really have that many people to work with, and this can drive up your costs. You have to know how to optimize your ad campaigns on Facebook for this to make sense. You can optimize on many levels. There are 3 levels you can optimize. Level 1, you can tweak the freebie you're giving away. This is the free stuff that you're giving away, so people are motivated to enter their email address into your form. Maybe you're giving away free membership access. Perhaps you're giving away a booklet or a book or a report, a set of templates, a set of graphics, possibly even giving away software or a mobile app. Whatever the case may be, you are giving out freebies, and you need to optimize these. What I mean by that is the freebie that you give must motivate the most people in your target audience to sign up for your mailing list. This is not easy. You cannot assume that just because you think that your booklet is awesome or is the next best thing since sliced bread doesn't automatically mean people will agree with you. It doesn't work that way. You may have to switch from one freebie to the other until you get a high enough sign-up rate that would tell you that the freebie that you have selected is the right one. Thankfully, this is fairly easy to do with Facebook. You basically run different ads that offer different premiums. Level 2. Level 2 optimization focuses on optimizing your ad copy. As I've mentioned above, lead generation campaigns on Facebook can and do get very expensive. It seems like you're doing all this for basically a handful of emails. This is why it's really important to make sure that you run a fully optimized campaign to get the most results. How do you do this? Well, you optimize your ad copy on an elemental level. Still, I want you to get a heads up this early on regarding the amount of optimization that you would have to do. It is quite intensive. You can't leave things at a surface level. That's just not going to work. Level 3. Level 3 involves optimizing based on conversions. When people click on your Learn More or Sign Up button, they're shown a form. You're going to have to keep tweaking that form to say what it needs to say to convert as much of your traffic into list members as much as possible. This takes quite a bit of time and attention to detail. Again, you have to run these experiments while minimizing your costs. Once you find out something that works, optimize it to increase its level of conversion. Once you have picked a winner that cannot be optimized any further in terms of conversion rate improvements, that's when you scale up. That's when you pour in the dollars to reach as many people as possible to boost your mailing list sign up.